Hey, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I have 3 projects for you to take a look at. I hope they inspire you, so stick around. Hey, this is our first project we're going to do. It is the fall home stack blocks, and I'm using these foam blocks from the teachers section of Dollar Tree. Now, I just pulled off those little white parts. Some of them came off completely, some of them left some residue behind, and I'm just going to paint over it. It's going to add character to it, so don't worry about getting all the sticker part off. Just try to get most of it off if you can. And then we're going to coat these with some black chalk paint. I'm using the Waverly ink color, but you could use any other chalk paint you like. So I found that the chalk paint sticks best. I was going to use the spray paint, but I've found that spray painting, for whatever reason, with these foam blocks, I get a little bubbling. I don't know if it's a reaction or what, but I just stuck with the chalk paint because I felt like it worked best. So I used those bowls, the clear bowls from Dollar Tree, and just stuck them upside down and put my blocks on them to dry. And you're going to do 1 coat of black, 1 coat of white, and you're just going to be very sporadic with your paint because you want to add that character with your paint finishes. So just cover the whole thing with 1 coat, and then I reuse those same bowls to let the white paint dry as well. So just go around it, just kind of shabby it up a little bit, give it a distressed feel, and then draw your blocks completely. And then you're going to see where you got some distressing. A couple of those circles are from the bowls. It's fine. We're going to cover that up. So I'm using my Ryobi drill with a drill bit that fit the diameter of my craft owls from Dollar Tree. And I'm drilling a hole down the center of my foam block. Now, I had an issue with the wanting to lean a little bit, which it's just decorative, so I think it was okay. So some of my blocks were kind of not a straight drill, which you could drill it perfect if you, I don't know, measured like side to side, but I was okay with it not being exactly perfect. So we're going to hot glue these anyways and try to straighten them up to the best that we can. And then, like I said, I just was like, that's leaning a little bit. How do we fix it? Just add you a little bit of hot glue in between your blocks, and it'll help them kind of stay straight to where it doesn't look so wonky. But it is character. It's just a little distressing. Now, I did add a little bit more paint to where I was going to add my letters just so that the letters stood out a little bit more. And I did that on both sides of the sides that I was going to add the letters to. So I'm just using these letters from Dollar Tree, and I have 2 packs just in case I needed them, and I think I only used 1 pack. So 1 sheet will do good for you for this project, depending on the word you're wanting to spell. So I'm spelling out fall on one side, and then we're going to do home on the other side. And that way you'll be able to spin it around, and these letters peel off very easily. And if you want to change them out for a different word, it's easy to just take your letters off. And if you get some of the paint that peels back, just add some paint and then add some new letters. And then you can just change it out over and over because these are the stickers. I'm not going to stencil them or anything. I'm literally just using the stickers. So just put them on. They stuck really good. And I didn't really have any issues as long as your paint is completely dry. And so once you get done with that step, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to decide if you want to put in something in the top of it or you just want to leave it plain. I wanted to do something a little bit decorative on the top of mine, so I'm using a faux succulent that I got from a little potted plant from Dollar Tree, and I just stuck it in the top. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of glue where the opening is and just kind of stick it in there really good. So I'd love to know what you think about this project, if you love it, and if you might want to make it yourself. Let me know that in the comments, and be sure to subscribe to my channel. I am always releasing different DIY projects to my channel to all of you amazing people. So we're going to top this off with a raffia bow that I got from Hobby Lobby. I struggle with making basic bows like this, so I'm just like, let's use this. So I thought it was really cute, and then I just put 1 on each side. And you don't really notice it when it's facing the way that you want it to go, that it is reversible. It just kind of looks, it just looks cute. So I hope you enjoyed this one, and we're going to go right on into the next one right after this one. All right, this one's going to be short and simple. It's super cute and easy to do. I actually did a TikTok on this one. So if you're not following me on the TikTok, you should go check me out. It is amber.strong on TikTok. And I do little 1 minute or less DIYs, show a little my personality. We just have a good little time over there. So check it out. And I'm using these beads that I got from Dollar Tree. I'm using a 1-pack for this. And I'm just using some pipe cleaners also from Dollar Tree. And then we're going to use some raffia as well. So I did 14 beads on each side after I created the V. So I folded them into a V. You're going to need 4 of these. And then you're going to lay one down, and then you're just going to basically you're going to intertwine them. So lay it down and then just kind of finger it through to where it creates an interlocking system. I don't know how to explain it, but that way. But that's what I did. So I just took the points where it was the fold and I just overlapped them. And then I pulled them all up to the middle and kind of shaped them, make sure that they were all kind of the right length. And then we're going to tie off our stalk, our corn stalk, or our corn husk with some baker's twine. Y'all, sometimes it's really hard for me to describe these things because I'm like, don't you get it? I know you do. You guys are awesome. But I like to try to figure out how do I explain these things. So I'm just basically going to tie off the top of this because I want to keep it tight because I am going to wrap that with raffia. So I just twisted once and then we're just going to tie it off and make a knot with the baker's twine. You can wrap the whole thing a few times if you want to. I just went around once and then tied it off. And then I am making this look like candy corn. So I did the white, the orange, and the yellow. And this is just basic craft acrylic paint. And I didn't do full coverage because I wanted the gold. I want it to be kind of like, you know how sometimes when you see corn, it's like some little kernels are chipped off or they're missing. That's kind of what the look was that I was going for, is not to get it like full coverage like this. I moved them around after I painted it so you can kind of see where a little bit of that gold is shining through and it gives it a little bit more character. So I just dried the paint and I just blended the colors through, and then you can kind of see here in a minute where you can see the gold will start popping in. So I just took my Dollar Tree raffia, took a section of it. Now I have found that the Dollar Tree raffia, it is worth $1, but a lot of them are very stiff pieces and you got to really break it apart. I really like to buy the raffia from Walmart, even though it's like $4. I'm okay with the $4 because you get a really big bag. But for this project, this will work. So it's really affordable. And I just hot glued the raffia all the way around. And then I'm making a little bow for this. I've already made one of these. I did one on a Facebook Live with my husband. Me and my husband crafted together, which was very entertaining. He did help me, it's really fun. So I wanted to make a second one. I want to make a pair of these to go in a bowl together. And so I thought, why not just record this one for all you amazing people on YouTube so that you guys could see how I made this one. And I just basically am wrapping this around, and that wrap is going to create part of our tails for our bow. Again, terrible at the bows. And I'm sure that there's 100 ways that we can make them. And I do watch all the YouTube videos about making bows. And when it comes down to it, I'm like, I overthink it and I never can get it right. So I just like to hot glue me a bow. So for this, that's exactly what we're doing. So we're going to hot glue 2 loops together, and then we're going to create an X pattern with it. And we're just going to make a bow. It's very simple. And then we're going to wrap the center of it with some twine. It's going to be the baker's twine. And it's going to make us a cute little like 4-loop bow. And then we're just going to put that right on the center. So this is the yellow baker's twine. And all I did was, like I said, make the X, glue it on top, and then we're going to wrap the center and then just hot glue it to our candy corn. Like I said, I'm pretty sure there's a better way to make a bow. But I'm on the struggle bus just a little bit. I got the messy bows going, but these little tiny little bows, it is what it is. But it still turned out really cute. It got the job done, right? So this is basically what we're going to do with our little candy corn. We just dressed it up with, you know, some things. And it's just a cute little bowl filler. It's decorative. It's just a fun little project that you can do. It's really fast and easy. The longest part about it is threading those beads on the pipe cleaners. And so I'm just adding me a little bit of an extra tail to this, and I'm just hot gluing it in. And then you can cut it and fix it to whatever length that you want it to be. And I didn't think about this until after I was done with this. I should have probably left those a little bit longer because I thought it was kind of cute, but I did go ahead and cut them off, but it's all right. So I'd love to know what you think about this project. It's super cute, right? It's adorable. Look at that. And you can see the little bit of gold popping through. All right, so we're going to go on into the next one, and I'll see you on that one. And please subscribe to my channel if you love all these projects. This one here is the funnest one I think I did out of all three of these, is the stacked pumpkins. And I got to decoupage. It was just a lot of fun. But these napkins I got at, where did I get these? I think I got them at Tuesday morning. And you're just going to pull apart your plies. This was a 3-ply. And so I wasn't sure exactly how many napkins I was going to need and where I might need to piece in parts. So I did 4 napkins. I only ended up using 3 of them. And then once they were all kind of pulled apart, I just set them aside. So we're working with 3 of these foam pumpkins from Dollar Tree. Pull your stems out because you're not going to need them. And if you want to save them for another project and you like hoard supplies like I do, you probably have a box for that. And so we're going to mix some chalk paint with some Mod Podge. So I like to, I don't want to say like kill 2 birds with 1 stone, but that's kind of the saying I could give, is I mix my Mod Podge with my paint. And so that way I'm not painting on the paint and then adding on the glue. I just mix it together and do it all at once. So blend your paint with your Mod Podge and it kind of tints the paint. And that way we're covering the orange underneath the napkins when we apply those. So one of the things that I wish I would have thought about until much later was using skewers to help me. So you see, you can see the orange, but the white with the mix with the Mod Podge is going to help us with that. So I wish that I would have thought about this sooner. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you the tip. Use some skewers from Dollar Tree, and you could put them in the end, and then you can hold on to this to paint better and you won't get it all over your hands. So I'm pretty sure that somebody's probably smarter than me has already thought about that, but here, I mean, it's just so much easier. And then you can take your napkin and just lay it over now your wet glue with your paint, and now you don't even really see the orange, and then just press it onto the form of the pumpkins. You want to get it into the grooves, and it's going to want to have some folds. Let it dry. We can trim those up later, but you don't want it to tear. So I used a foam block also from Dollar Tree to stick my pumpkins in to help them dry while I moved on to the next thing. So those are just going to sit aside and completely dry, and you can see where there's a lot of folds. Just look, we'll fix it. We can fix that. So I'm going to rust this bucket from Dollar Tree. Y'all, I love to do the faux rust on so many different things. I love to do a chippy finish. And so one of the tricks that I use, and I'm not sure how many other methods there are to the faux rust look, but my trick is to create a texturey barrier. So the glue, the Mod Podge, is like your base coat. It's going to dry clear and it's going to have some character and some texture. So when you start to create that faux rust layer, it's going to help it look more authentic, even though it's a faux finish. So all I did was paint the entire bucket with the Mod Podge, and I took my wax paper and just created some imperfections in the Mod Podge before it dried. And then I dried it with my heat gun. And once you start adding on the layers of brown paint and the antique wax, you're going to see where it's going to create those little, because this is a solid surface bucket. So the Mod Podge is going to help you get that texture and character that you're looking for. So I'm just using the color Java from Folk Art Chalk Paint and a chip brush, and I'm just bouncing around this whole bucket wherever I would imagine that rust would naturally, obviously it's a faux finish, so it's where it would naturally collect. At the bottom, around the top, maybe dripping down the sides, on the seam. And you're just going to go around with that super dark brown, and it looks funny, but you're going to use a baby wipe to help blend that out and just kind of pounce around and drag it up into different areas. And that's going to be your first layer. So once that's dry, you're going to get like a matte finish. It's not going to be shiny. It's going to look really dry and powdery. And that deep, rich chocolate color is going to help us create the anchor of our rust finish. Now, the one thing I will say is you can use the Waverly wax if you want. You can mix color with wax or Vaseline or whatever you want to use. I like the Waverly wax because I feel like it gives that, it's just a cool orangey brown tint that's transparent, but their wax sticks really good. And then I just use my finger to kind of dab around and create this rusted look. So you're going to let your bucket dry, and then I'm using a paper towel holder from the Dollar Tree, and we're going to put our pumpkins stacked on top of this. So this is where I'm just going around, and wherever it was dry and the paper was overlapping and sticking off, I just cut it and then use some Mod Podge to press it in and shape the pumpkin. And then I went on and did that to all three of them. So just chop off all the extra. You can see a little bit of the orange peeking through. We're going to stack these anyway, so a lot of that's not going to be visible. And we're also going to use Spanish moss. So I just basically was like, okay, where's this going to go? Now let me guess, because I don't want to cut it too much, because these pumpkins will pop apart. And I didn't want that to happen. So I was very gentle about just making quick little slits and then sliding the pumpkin over the top. And if your foam wants to pop up a little bit, just push it back down and you can fix that later. So I'm going to cover up the base of this with some of the Dollar Tree burlap ribbon because I'm going to add Spanish moss there. I didn't try this, but I imagine, okay, the Spanish moss is probably not going to fit to all those rings and look right. So I wanted to create like a flat surface. You could use paper. I didn't think about that, so I'm just using some of this burlap ribbon to kind of go around the base of the paper towel holder because we're going to put Spanish moss on top of that. And then that way it's going to help us create that platform for our Spanish moss. And then I just basically glued around the ring of our paper towel holder, which you can't see in the frame. I do apologize about that. But I just load it up with some glue. And if it starts to drip, that's okay because we're going to put moss around this transition. So it's just going to look like it's full of moss in the whole bucket. But in fact, it's really a paper towel holder. So I'm just using the Dollar Tree Spanish moss. I ended up using 2 bags of this total. And I started by covering the edge and then I just loaded up the center. And like I said, you can, or as you can see in this video, you can push your pumpkin down to see how much moss you want to add. I just went ahead and did the whole thing because I think it just gave it a little more character of like a fluffy base for it to sit on. Because I would imagine the bucket is fuller than the in between where we add moss in between. Y'all be careful with the hot glue and the Spanish moss and all this stuff because that glue gets hot and it'll stick to your fingers. You're going to have glue on your fingers. You're going to have moss stuck to you. But it really ends up being a really cute project. So I just added some glue to the paper towel holder and slid my pumpkin over and held it down really tight. And then I'm adding the next one the same way. You're just going to cut the same slits. And then you're just going to keep stacking and adding moss in between each one of those. And I just think the brown moss is great. You could use the green moss. I did do this one for like fall. But this would be just really cute with just like to make topiaries that aren't really like decoupage pumpkins. But it's just a great thing you could do for fall that's kind of decorative. You could set it by your front door. You can just set it on a shelf, on a mantle. It's just a great little filler. But the bucket, y'all, I know it doesn't look faux rusty when you're making it, but it actually really is. So we're just topping off the top of this. Y'all, it was a no makeup kind of day. Just a crafting kind of adventure. And so I'm hollowing at the top of this. Just a little bit, not a whole lot, so I can put me a Dollar Tree stick in. And then I'm just gluing it to the top. And then we're going to add a little bit more moss. And we're going to finish topping off our little topiary. I hope you've enjoyed these 3 projects. I think they're super fun. Maybe some ideas for you for that you can, you know, just it sparks creativity and makes you think, what can I substitute to do something similar? So think Christmas or every day with these. And thank you again for watching. I'm so glad you're here. Let me know what you think in the comments. Give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. And go check out my playlist. I've got a bunch of other projects. And thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next video.